real cases before a real judge.
Plaintiff Irma Phillips has known the defendant for years, so Irma rented a party venue from her for her 50th birthday party. However, Irma claims the defendant failed to decorate in the agreed-upon colors, and the venue was filthy, so she's suing for a refund. Defendant LaToya Walls says on the day of the event, Irma never complained about the decorations, and she insists the venue was clean and ready for the party. She's countersuing because she claims Irma badmouthed her company on social media.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
I've been knowing Toya for half of her whole life.
Okay.
Me and her mother, really good friends. Still, we still good friends. Let's make this clear for the record. We still good friends. And Toya, growing up, she was, you know, a little wild and, you know, did what she wanted to do. But for the most part, Toya grew up to be a well-grown woman.
Good.
And I honored that, and I watched her. Same way with my process, you know, for me, coming from living the lifestyle that I lived at one time, and being 16 years clean, free from heroin. And so she watched my struggles, and I watched her struggles. And I had reached out to.
What years were you on heroin?
From, I want to say from 1990, my mother passed in 90, from like 94 up until maybe 2000, up until 2006, off and on. Because
I used no heroin then. Everybody was on crack.
No, not
You
me.
were the only one on heroin, huh? And that whole,
Yeah,
on your whole block.
Cocaine was too fast for me.
Where did you get it from? When nobody was selling heroin.
I was
back
selling
then.
it. I was selling heroin. And
Selling
then,
it to yourself. When nobody else using heroin.
I mean, you know,
Only dealer
they
in
say you
town.
become your best customer, and I became my best customer.
Unfortunately, it's back now with a vengeance.
Absolutely.
All right, and how did you recover? I like to hear recovery stories.
I was tired of letting my kids down. And in the process of me being tired of letting my kids down, I had an epiphany one day. Went outside, I had 2 bags of cocaine left to sell, and the police rolled up. I opened up my hand and I surrendered and didn't even know it. And it happened in 2006, and I've been clean since 2006, so I've been clean for 16 years now.
How old are your children?
My oldest child is 32. My second child, he is
What's the
20
how many?
28. I have 3 girls and 1 boy.
Okay.
And my last 2, they are 22.
Okay.
With them having a really good father, you know, he kind of shielded them from my madness.
Good. Give me some background on yourself, young lady.
Hey, Judge Mathis, I'm LaToya Walls. You know, I have 6 kids. I'm not perfect, like she said. When I was young, I was.
You on heroin too?
No, sir.
Crack?
No, sir.
Oxycontin?
No, none of that. Nothing.
Percocet?
No, never. No. Little weed
Crystal
here and
meth?
there. Little weed, smoke weed sometimes.
Oh, well, we all on that.
Yeah.
Everybody in here
Yeah,
on weed.
that's it.
Everybody in here on weed.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Yeah, so so by the time I was troubled teen, gang
Kind of
in
trouble.
the gang.
Running with gang.
Yeah, but got stabbed like at 13. By 16, I was pregnant with my first child.
What city? Here in Chicago?
Yeah,
What
west side
part
of Chicago. I grew up on the west
What
side.
part of town?
Cicero, Superior, Chicago Avenue, like up in there, So, like by the time I was 16, I got pregnant with my first child. By the time I was 20, I had 4 kids. So I never lived like a normal teenage life and stuff. So, but as I got older, I knew like I had to change my life. So I found God.
Where was he?
He was always in my spirit. you know.
Okay, because you were the one lost then.
Yeah, I was the one lost. So,
You
yeah.
only found things fine.
Well, I found myself then.
I found you.
Yeah.
All right, you were lost.
Yeah, I was lost,
I
right,
like
correct.
to tease people when they say that. I
Yeah.
found God. God
Yeah, he wasn't ever
You
right. I was the one
lost.
lost. So, yeah, so.
But good. And
He was-
you joined you're part of a fellowship now, a church now?
Yes, I go to Living Word, Bill Winston.
Okay, and he helped you recover?
Yeah, I had started.
Is that the church you turned to?
No, it
when
was
you straightening your life out?
It was on 43rd in Michigan. I had went to J.D. Anderson, which is Centennial. Mm-hmm. That was the church that like changed my life, you know. So felt the spirit, changed my life, you know what I'm saying. So I always had to have my own, like, you know, I always had to, because I.
How old are you?
I'm 36 now.
Okay.
I had became an entrepreneur, and which is I have 3 different venues. And
That's what we hear about, the venue, right? You want a refund on your venue. So you have 3 halls?
yes, I have 3 different venues, which is like I'm just become a business owner, you know what I'm saying? But I have been blessed so fast, and you know it's overcome me so fast. So, you know, but you know I've been getting harassed by the police because I'm African American running.
They come in and
business.
ticket you.
And I have all my paperwork right and everything. And they still, the man came basically, the the inspector told me I'm finna shut you down for good this time, and I'm gonna make sure.
What's the name of your venues?
Latoya's Place.
Latoya's Place? Mm-hmm. Which one do you getting the most problems from?
That's where I'm getting it from. I have 2 on
Where?
the same North Avenue.
Well, you know the alder person there? Congressperson?
I know the alderman, but it's very hard for me to get in touch with her because like they don't deal with like people with small businesses and stuff like that.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah, so.
The aldermen do. Yes, they do. And you have to be a little aggressive with politicians sometimes.
Yeah.
And so that's what I advise. Contact your alderman if they want help. I'd go to some of the civil rights groups if you think that might be a racial issue. Go to NAACP and ask them if they would help and talk to somebody about what you believe to be harassment based on race. Because I do know that that happens all over the country when they don't want a certain clientele in a certain community, whether it's race-based or whether it's poor or whatever the case is. We don't want them building over here. So get at Irish bar tickets every day. We don't want Irish people over in this neighborhood, or we don't want black people coming downtown to to an all-black club downtown. So let's ticket them out of business. That does happen.
That's what they do.
And so, that's what you have to do, though. All right, and I'm glad to hear you got 3 businesses or 3 venues. She's going to tell me about the experience she's had with one of them. So tell me what happened here.
Okay, so I reached out to her at the end of May, and it was a really nice, you know, the pictures that she had been posting was really nice. So it wasn't a question, okay, I'll just stick with who I know. So when I reached out to her right away, she told me in order for me to secure your place, you have to give me a deposit. I said, okay, fine. So I sent her a $100 deposit the same day that I talked to her, the same day I asked her about the venue. So the color scheme was supposed to be gold and white for $50 and Tiffany blue for $40 because I just turned 50 July the 14th. So stepping into my golden years, who would have ever thought, not myself, I would be able to turn 50 alive, well, and doing well for myself. If you can look on page 1, it clearly say at the top, gold and white and Tiffany blue. And then the time was supposed to be from 7 to 11. And then the date on there is July the 17th.
Okay.
The second deposit I gave her was 5/7/21. That was for $300. I sent her another deposit, I sent her another payment of $300 on 7/8. When we met on the 9th, I had cash. So I gave her the rest in cash. I gave her the $100 in
Is there a
cash.
dispute as to whether she gave you $800?
No, I'm not
She
disputing.
did give you $800?
Correct.
The problem came in is that when I made it to the venue, She didn't have any of my colors that we discussed. She decorated in a really, really nasty venue. I have a video of it, if you can.
Of the venue?
Yes, of the venue.
Because you haven't told me what went wrong yet, so let's
Okay. For $800. Nasty ass washroom, no tissue. Excuse my language. Clearly no tissue in here. The floors are nasty, dirty as garbage. All back here. The floors is nasty. So I had to come out my pocket and pay the lady that was only supposed to have been doing my suite table to redecorate the whole venue.
How much?
I paid her extra $100.
Okay.
To redecorate the whole venue over.
Okay.
And then I gave my nieces them $50 a piece to help clean up. When I tell you that it was nasty, it
you
was.
didn't show me that.
Oh, I got other
Okay,
pictures.
you have some more pictures?
Yeah,
'Cause
I got
didn't
other
see
pictures.
that on there. I saw a bathroom.
I got other pictures.
That's it.
The floors was buckled all up.
I didn't see that. And
Let
so
me
what?
see if
That's
they-
a structural problem. What would you expect her to do there?
Right here. I don't know if you can see this on page 18. On page 20.
What am I supposed to see on page 20?
The place is dirty.
I don't see the dirt on page 20. Why don't
Well-
you direct me to what I'm supposed to see?
The garbage can.
Where is it on page 20? I don't.
All the way in the back where the water fountain at.
What's wrong with it?
It stink. And it was nasty and it was
Can
dirty.
stink. Okay.
And then the venue space. It's supposed
You
to.
had your event, right?
I did have my event.
Okay.
But I had to clean up the venue. If I'm renting out a venue
I
space.
got you $100 so far. What do you want to say, though?
Okay, Your Honor, I want to say my venue was never nasty. I decorated to how she wanted it.
Well, I don't know. You have anything to show she didn't do the?
Yeah.
Because I looked the picture I just saw. I didn't see any gold
Yeah.
now.
So it should have been Tiffany blue and white.
Your Honor, she never complained to me. She never.
And the tables are covered with gold.
Because I
see
had
gold.
somebody
I see
to.
Yes, I
gold,
had
white,
the gold
and-
on there. And
Because-
Your Honor, when she called me. She never complained about anything. When she first called me, she said, Toya, I need another table. I said, okay, it's tables in the back. You get a table in the back. And if she would have said it wasn't no tissue, I would have said the tissue right there next and the next thing. And if she would have complained about decorations, I would have came right there and decorated and did how she wanted to. She never complained not one time. I told her, I said, Irma, I promise you. I say, Irma, I say, if you don't like something, if something not up to your code, I will give you a full refund right now.
30
but you
minutes before
cannot
my
play.
party.
But you cannot party in my place. Or if
30
you
minutes
want a
before
full
my
refund,
party.
I offered her a full refund.
What's your counterclaim for? $1,200.
Defamation of character,
What she did?
slander in my place. Went on Facebook saying this nasty venue. I would never recommend nobody for
What
this
page
video.
is that in your evidence? Do you have it?
I have it on my text. I can show you
Okay,
from
yeah.
my phone.
I could tell you. Look on page 10, Judge Mathis. On page 10 and on page 11. I never said her name. I never said.
She said
no-
my
What
venue.
went? Hold on, man. What went wrong with the party?
After I left from helping clean up and getting everything together and made it back at 8:30 when my party's supposed to start at 7, the party went well.
Okay, good. How can someone interpret her talking about you on this post?
Because she was at my party, at my place, posting up the video and the picture, so everybody know that's my place.
I never posted video on
she
social
tried
media.
to slander me from someone. She said,
But you got to show me evidence. Your name isn't mentioned. Your place isn't even described. There's nothing on here that when the average person reads this, they would say, aha, that was LaToya's business.
we mutual friends with a lot of people. We mutual friends with.
All right, so tell me what someone said. You tell me what someone said to you.
So when the one came and said, well, Irma complained about your business.
One
she's-
who? That's who? One as in, what's the relation to that person?
Her cousin, but she lying though.
Your cousin?
Her cousin, but she lying
She
though.
was at the party too. She was saying, well, I
Oh,
asked
she
her.
was at the party?
Yes.
Well, yeah, we know she complained. Anybody at the party probably knew because she was walking around complaining. If you're telling me
No,
that,
it was on Facebook.
Well, then this doesn't prove that. What you shown me has no indication that it associates your place or you. So I'm going to deny your slander, but I am going to grant her $100, ma'am.
Okay.
You had that party. You're not going to get a free venue. You're going to get it
I wasn't
free.
looking for
You're
a
going to
free
deduct the
venue.
amount of money that you used to bring it up to your standard. And all that was wrong with it was cleaning. $100 and your claim is dismissed. Have a good day.
Irma,
I love
you.
I love you.
I still love you.
I mean, you know,
That's it.
like I
mean,
said,
that's
you
it.
like
I
my
love-
little sister.
Yes, and that's it. I love you.
Period.
Plaintiff Carmen Diaz met the defendant on a dating site. And although they didn't hit it off romantically, they did become best friends and roommates. Carmen claims while living together, the defendant's son stole her car and crashed it, so she's suing. Defendant Rodrigo Alvier says Carmen was a great friend, and they often gave each other dating advice. Rodrigo says on the night of the accident, he feared his son was dead, but he doesn't feel responsible for his son's actions.
Start with you.
Okay, so I met Rodrigo about 3 years ago on a dating site. We never hit it off romantically. We went on around 3 dates or so, and we decided just to stay friends, and we became best friends actually. To the point that he's a traveling DJ, so he would take me on his gigs, and I would run his photo booth while he ran the DJ aspect of the night. So we FaceTimed every night when we weren't together. I mean, we did things like regular best friends did on a daily basis. So fast forward, he knew that I was, in a toxic relationship. So I was paying rent on my own for over a year. And at that point, Rodrigo offered me to move in with him. He had a room for rent at his home. And so I agreed.
When was that?
Around the beginning of August of this year. It was a win-win situation for both of us. So I moved in, but shortly thereafter, about 3 days after I moved in, I went on vacation. So I hadn't been at the house for more than 10 days before the incident happened. So on one of the days, Rodrigo invited me to go to a gig with him. He didn't need me to be the photo booth that day because he had it covered because he wasn't doing the DJ, only the photo booth. So we went to the gig and we got back to the home, and it was about 11:45 at night. I knew once it was midnight was his son's birthday. So at that point, I told him, why don't you go down to the basement? Our bedrooms were on the second level. Why don't you go down to the basement and wish your son a happy birthday? And at that point, he refused because he was upset that the son had stolen something from his bedroom.
That's reason enough.
Yes, it is. So we did as we normally do. We were just hanging out, listening to music. And next thing you know, fast forward, it's about 2 a.m. and there's flashlights flashing through the windows. And I look outside and it's a Cook County Sheriff Department. And they're flashing, you could see their armor and their badges. They had their masks on. And so I quickly run, and start getting dressed because I was already in my pajamas. While this time, Rodrigo's running downstairs. Well, not running, walking. And he was talking to the police. And
You dumping it in the toilet?
No, just
While
changing.
he was talking to, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
You run out and buy some time. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, he runs downstairs and I'm trying to change. I was in my pajamas. I go downstairs and all I hear was, your son is in the hospital. He's been involved in an accident. Alcohol involved. That's all I hear by the time I'm coming downstairs. So when I get down there, the officer says something to the nature, there's been an accident. He hit a median. He's got stuck on the median. The police were called, and your son is in the hospital. You need to go pick him up. And I was like,
Pick him up?
Yes,
Oh,
from the hospital.
I'm waiting on the bad news. Thank God it's better than I thought.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, so the police say, the car that was involved was a Toyota Corolla. And I said, what? I said, you have to be joking because that's my vehicle. So this whole time, you know, we think he's in the basement for his birthday, and he had gone into my bedroom, stolen my keys and stolen my car, and then gotten into an accident. So the car was not drivable. It had to be impounded because...
So since we're talking about, at this point, the car, let me allow him to give background remarks, and then we'll get back to the point that you're at. Sir, you want to take us up to the accident?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, like she said, I met her about 3 years ago at a dating site. We remained friends, became very good friends. We gave each other advice. You know, when she dated men, I dated women. We did everything together, just, you know, just like a guy best friend. You know, it was great. It just, I'm very unfortunate that we're here at this time right now. Like she said, we, that date, I didn't go bother my son because I thought he was asleep. It was late. You know, I have custody of my 2 kids. They were being raised in the slum of Florida. I fought for them. Their mother, great mom. It's just the living situation was horrible there. So I brought them over to live with me. And I tell you that I don't know how single moms, single dads do it, but there's no manual to raising these kids. You know, my son's 17, and I did everything to try to raise, I'm doing everything to try to raise him the right way. So, like I said, I didn't bother him. He stole some small from my room when I noticed when I got home. I said, you know what, let him sleep. We're going to take him out to dinner Sunday and have a good time with him. Me and Carmen became best friends, like I said, 2, 3 in the morning, laughing, talking about anything. We would do edibles and just, you know, have an amazing time. Just a great woman. And we, like she said, we started to see flashes in the bedroom. You know, I thought I was seeing things at that point.
Yeah, it was those edibles.
I was seeing things until I asked her, look out the window, and she saw, you know, what she said. She saw the cops out there. I ran downstairs. At this point, I'm thinking my son's asleep. What's going on? The first thing the cop says is, are you Nehemiah's father? Before he finished that sentence, you know, there's 99% never good news when the cops at your house asking you that. But he grabbed me by my arm. I remember Carmen was in the living room getting ready fast to go to see what the situation was all about. And the cop does say right away he's okay. So, you know, everything flashed in a millisecond for me. That's all I cared about. They proceeded to tell me the story just like Carmen said. He had stolen a car, this. I'm getting ready to go get him. You know, he's at the hospital. Is he okay? Yeah, he's fine. They're going to release him to me. I was kind of shocked about that. So I was getting ready to go. I'm Carmen, let's go. But at that, you know, at some point, I'm like, what car? I got my car. And it happened to be her car. They radioed it in, and it was her Corolla.
And you're suing him for what his son did, and his son is a minor, obviously.
Correct. He had just turned 17 that night. Well, you know, Saturday into Sunday. So he had just turned 17.
Had he had problems in the past, the son?
I am unaware of any problems. You know, I thought he was a good kid. I mean, we hung out.
Had any problems in the past?
No, he's a good kid. I mean, he's a boneheaded 17-year-old.
He ran off with the car that night.
But he must have, I mean, I think I failed as a dad. I should have never took a gig that weekend.
You felt perhaps you should have taken the weekend off?
Well, yeah, I know after this happened, I felt I should have taken it off. You know, I should, like, what did I do? Why was I gone? You know, he wanted a party for his birthday. We wanted to go do something for his birthday. I should have been there and done something, you know, instead of him being alone, being tempted to take a car and going to go drink and drive. Could have killed himself. Thank God the median was there that stopped him.
You're saying all the things to cause you responsibility here. Sound like you knew a lot about your son. So much so you thought perhaps looking back I should have stayed there because I know how my son is. And when you know how your son is or your child is and they're a minor and they cause damage to others, you're responsible for it. $2,420, I'm holding you responsible for the acts of your son because in reading between your words, which you might try and adjust, you said, I look back and I said I should have stayed there. So I have to give her the judgment. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
It's an unfortunate situation, but you know, I have nothing but love for you.
She's still my friend. You know, I still love her. You know, there's no love lost. I was just a unfortunate situation.
Plaintiff Daniel Mahone robbed a bank in 1999. and got away with $312,000. And as a result, he spent 15 years in prison. Once released, he did any job he could to get back on his feet. And today he's suing because he repaired the defendant's air conditioner in his truck and he failed to pay him. Defendant Robert Burkhart Jr. was addicted to alcohol and pain pills, but he insists he's now clean and sober. Robert refuses to pay Daniel because the air conditioner broke again 1 month after Daniel repaired it.
Start with you.
Well, back in '97, I went in the Coast Guard. I was 17 years old. At 19, I met up with some guys that were in the Coast Guard with me, and we robbed a bank. It's kind of bonehead play, but at the same time, numbers made sense. We made about $312,000.
What year was that?
1999, sir.
Yeah, didn't they have like a banking collapse or something, or predatory lending by the banks where they took advantage of poor people?
That was a little after, but yes, sir, they did.
They've been taking advantage of poor people for decades, if not centuries, banks, right?
Yes, sir.
So you was doing it for your moms to get back? To get back
Honestly,
into the system that ripped off your mother? Or? Now, if you
was a
tell me
number.
that, I might understand.
I can't tell you that that's why I did that. I did it because the numbers made sense. I was going to put 2-3 minutes of work, and I ran the dirt.
Oh yeah, no, you were supposed to go to jail then. Now, if you'd have told me you did it for my mama because the banks were predatory lending against my mother and took her house and all that, then I'd give you a hand. All right. So you were convicted of bank robbery. How much time did you do?
I was sentenced to 188 months and 60 months supervised release. I did from 99 to 2014.
Okay. And when you got out, what'd you do?
Honestly, I worked every job that was there. If somebody was paying me for something, I did it. My goal was $1,000 a week. At some points, at one point, I was working 5 to 1:30, going to work at a department store at 4 o'clock, going to mop up the floors at night, and I want to get back to 2 o'clock, go back to work again at 5 o'clock. I mean, I caught a lot of flack behind it. I wore it for a minute. At some point that got old, I decided to go into business for myself. I started a couple businesses. I did odds and ends for people, maybe under the table or whatever, however you call it. No different than the last president. I mean, I did whatever I could do.
There you go.
Put as much money as I could put in my pocket.
You're getting like me now. You find the contradictions at the highest level of society and measure that against what they mess with poor people and working class people about. We'll get time, they'll get money. Go ahead.
And I completed my supervised release. I've had 3 different businesses. All of them I got shafted on. And always the word was, whose word they gonna believe, yours or mine? And I wore it, kept persevering. Got a contracting company now, a painting business with a pretty recognized national real estate company. So that was the one that allowed me to get past the hand-to-mouth existence. And that's all I wanted. I never thought I'd be in court as a plaintiff. Honestly, I never. Yeah, I mean, this is so, it's unreal right now.
Well, let me ask you, how did you get your skills?
Honestly, my dad, and then a lot of that was reinforced. It wasn't easy, but in there, in the feds, there was some opportunities to paint, certain opportunities to do electrical. I found out later that a lot of it didn't have that much weight when you got out here, but at least you had the skill. At that point, you kind of have to go into entrepreneurship. You got to turn from a wage earner to a profit earner. And
that's awesome.
That's the only way I could get past that.
I agree. Let me get some background from you, sir.
Struggled with addiction since about 2005. I lost an uncle and a great friend of mine. He taught me a lot about construction, a lot of things.
What type of addiction have you struggled with?
Alcohol and substance.
What substance?
Well, pain pills and marijuana.
Okay.
Pretty much. I've pretty much hit it since then, hit my emotions.
How'd you get on the pain pills? You start using it as a recreational drug, the pain pills, or did it start with an injury?
It started with an injury, a car accident,
Okay.
many years ago, 2003, I believe. And I've struggled with the emotion of it, and it's carried through to relationships I've destroyed, jobs I've destroyed, and most recently, my son and I got into it, and I had a mild heart attack.
Are you getting help?
At the moment, I'm self-help. I moved away from most of the...
Okay, so what are you saying? You went through withdrawals on your own?
Yes.
And you don't...
Everyday struggle.
And you aren't doing any follow-up? NA or anything? Therapy?
No, sir.
What happened to the pain? Or had the pain gone away quite some time ago? Or what happened to the pain?
And I've adjusted and changed my life. I don't do construction anymore. That helped.
Okay.
I read a lot. And I
All
just
right.
go
Well,
on a day-to-day basis.
yeah, well, most people stay clean by going to a NA course or some type of therapy, weekly or another, one or the other, outpatient. So good luck to you. And glad to hear you share your story so that other folks can hear it. Why are you suing today? What's the breach of contract for, sir?
Well, back in about August or July of last year, or 2019, excuse me, my brother, his girlfriend's father, which is the defendant, my brother came to me because he knew I basically, whatever there was to do, I'll figure out how to do it, whether it's YouTube or whatever. And he told me that he needed his air conditioner fixed in his truck. It was a 2006 Dodge. And of course, I'm not going to say no. If I can't do it, I'll find somebody who can. And we talked. That's when I met Bobby or Robert. And when we talked, we agreed to 2000 that I was going to change out his air condition in his truck. And he already told me straight up, I only had $800 up front, but about 30 days, give me a couple paychecks and I'll get the difference. Well, when give or take around 2 to 3 days after the 30 days, when I reached back out to him, because I thought I was going to get some money throughout the 30 days, but I didn't. So I just waited till the 30 days to reach out. He told me it wasn't working, but he never called me and told me that it wasn't working. He just told me that when I reached out to him about the difference, which
How
was
long afterwards?
A month. It was in October of 2019.
1 month afterwards, when you reached out, that's the first time you heard. Did
Yes,
you
sir.
check it out then? You still could have checked it out.
I honestly didn't, because you got, like, in the past, I would have dealt with it. I would have rather you put a gun to my head at that point.
Why?
That was hard. I mean, you do the work, you don't get paid. What can you do?
They waited 1 month to tell you. Is this the first time you've done that type of work?
It's the first time I did that for him or in that truck. I've done other auto work on the side for people, family, friends, which was just how this was. I didn't know him personally.
You've done other air conditioning?
I've done different evaporator cores, yes, sir. I have dealt with it, yes, sir.
What did you
sometimes
do
it's
for
not
him?
a big job.
What did you do for him?
I changed the evaporator core.
Okay, and you'd done that before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, what do you want to tell me?
Well, the fact that he changed the evaporator core and it only lasted a month, therefore I didn't see any bother or reason why I owed him $1,200 unless he looked at it again, and then he refused to look at it again. He just wanted his $1,200.
So when did it go bad? A month later? It worked well for a month?
For one month, yes, it worked fine. And then.
And did you call him before he had called you?
No, I didn't.
You owed him money, you never paid him, and you never heard from him.
Right.
That suggests he didn't want his money.
I guess not.
Okay, all right. All right, so in this case, in this case, I have to determine who to believe unless you all have evidence, and I see empty files, so there's no evidence. Did you get it fixed by somebody else?
No.
Okay, so it's still in disrepair. Had you gotten it fixed by someone else and brought me the evidence showing that it was faulty and that someone else had to fix it, then I would have given you that money that you used to repair the holes that he put in. But sounds like you didn't have the money to pay the new repairman or the old repairman. And that's what happened in my opinion. And my opinion counts. So your judgment is granted. Have a good day.
Thanks. We could have resolved this.
Brother, I mean,
have to get.
I'm
gonna lose a lot of friends that are gonna find out that I was in prison, that they don't know that I've been there.
Well,
I did all that for what, $1,200?
I mean, you said you were gonna fix the AC. You could have just fixed it right.
Oh,
$2,000 and it's still not working.